So, my little session is building a toolkit that makes sense. Can everyone see my screen? Um, it says I'm sharing. Yes, everyone's saying yes. Perfect. Okay, great. So, a little bit about me. I'm going to go really fast. My name is Carrie. I'm a manager of talent acquisition, overseeing our sourcing and candidate experience team. I've been recruiting for 17 years. I'm a fourth generation TA. My whole family's in recruiting. It's kind of weird. I'm a boy mom, a pet mom. I'm a wife of 21 years as of yesterday. I'm a podcast co-host for Bullion and Brews. My t-shirt. I've done some speaking, mostly virtual. This is my vibe. I'm all about the virtual. I'd probably be super awkward in person. And then now, obviously, speaking at this one. And I'm always being my best self, or really trying to be. Okay, things I'm passionate about. So we got asked to write or to talk about things we're passionate about. So family, number one, sourcing, number two, water, coffee, and wine in that order. Attending virtual conferences and blowing up the chats. I love the chats. You learn a lot in those. And I love a good GIF. Asking all the questions, even the dumb ones. I feel like I'm always asking dumb questions, but it's how I learn. So just keep asking all the questions. I love a good emoji. I love connecting and networking. This community is absolutely amazing, and I'm echoing everything that everybody else has already said. Reach out to your peers on here, reach out to everyone, connect, do all the things, stay in the network together. I love researching tools, Chrome extensions, bookmarklets, and intelligence tools. Basically, everything I've learned from everyone that's here. Um, Automating and simplifying my workflow. So finding some automation that makes sense for what you do. Tools are not one size fits all, and we'll talk more about that. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So someone already mentioned that earlier. I think it was Paul. It's really awkward, but just do it. Being authentically me. Van was talking about being authentic. I mean, we're just all echoing each other here. Doing what works and never becoming complacent. That's so boring. Don't do that. So what does this sound like? This already sounds like a toolkit, right? So let's move on. So I told you that there was going to be another eagle thing in here. I too learned something about an eagle recently, and it kind of made me reflect on recruiting and how things change and how tools make things better and like AI and all that stuff. So an eagle undergoes a process of renewal. I had no idea. Over 150 days after turning 40, around when they turn 40 years old. Apparently, they live until they're almost 80. But it symbolizes a transformation akin to rebirth. And I kind of feel like that's happening, right? This renewal cycle reflects the majestic bird shedding its old feathers and regenerating new ones. He also bangs his beak off on a mountain and makes it fall off so that he grows a new one so that it's sharp. He also then pulls out his fingernails too, which is kind of graphic. I know, I'm sorry. But he is literally rejuvenating himself and growing. He wants to live. So it's basically die or live for the eagle at that point. Through this natural process, the eagle emerges stronger and revitalized, ready to soar to a new heights and a renewed vigor. Isn't that crazy? Is that not recruiting right now? This was just too perfect. I had to talk. I had to share that. So, with that said, toolkits are not one size fits all. InfoSec is real for your department, whoever you're working for. They can really control what you have access to, unless you have a personal computer. You do need to know the basics of how things work under the hood. So, someone had asked earlier, is x ray still a thing? Yes, I definitely think it is because you're learning how to control the results of what you want to see for whatever it is that you're working on. And understanding how that works helps you to ask the right questions when you're interviewing companies about products that they're trying to sell to you. Shiny things can be lame. There are a lot of tools out there that suck, and you have to try them out and figure out if it makes sense for you. Do you really use all these tools and do all these crazy tricks? Yeah, we do learn them. We figure it out as sourcers, but do we do it all day, every day? Maybe not, but it's good to know. It's good to know how to use some of these tools. Um, and then research and discovery takes time. Somebody else today was already talking about how, it does take some time for people to figure things out through research and all that good stuff. Okay, so how do you figure out your toolkit? You define the craft behind your toolkit. So Michael Goldberg was actually on Bullion and Brews a couple of weeks ago, and his motto for his team is be curious, be creative, and be connected. I think those are the three things that, oh my gosh, that just defines everything that a sourcer and recruiter does to keep that energy and that momentum alive. It also helps you figure out different tools and how to put them in your toolkit. So going to move on to the next one. Y'all, I practiced and I talked really fast this morning, so I feel like I'm on speed right now. So some other ways to build your toolkit is by making community pals, by networking, by getting in touch with people that you've seen that are industry experts, reaching out to them, not being afraid to do it, and kind of educating yourself on anything and everything that's out there. And boy, is that actually overwhelming. So, hopefully, this screen right here will kind of give you an idea of some places you can start. Conferences. So, RecFest, that's coming to the US. I think this is the second year that they'll be here this fall. SourceCon, of course, TalentNet Live, SOSU, Tech Recruit. There's tons of conferences out there. There's lots of meta groups, Facebook, whatever you want to call it, SourceCon, secret sourcing groups, sourcers who code. Lots of podcasts out there, obviously Bullion and Brews, but also Elite Recruiter, Chat and Cheese, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. But First Coffee, that's another one. Top Source Talent. And then Ben Mena, I don't know if you're following him. He is always pushing out great content about all of the different podcasts and stuff that are out there. So definitely follow him. Um, Sourcing and recruiting newsletters. I think I might have said this. I definitely did this morning when I practiced, but all the different tools. When someone reaches out to you and they're like, "Oh, I see you're the manager of talent acquisition, or you recruit for blah 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 company. Check out my tool." Like, do the demo, learn about it. Like, go schedule some time, make it convenient, make it Friday at 3 o'clock. That kind of sucks, but if that's the only time that you have, do it because you're going to start to learn more about the different companies that are out there, what they're offering, who are their competitors, and then you can start reaching out to your community pals to ask everyone, do you use this tool? Does it work? And by that, they're going to actually start to put you on their newsletters automatically and start keeping you, in the know of what's going on in the market. Really cool. So I gave a list here. In my slides, I actually did link everything, and I usually put it on my LinkedIn. So I'll be sticking it on there later today. And then there are a ton of books out there. If there's anything, one of my favorite books for like learning how things work under the hood would be Full Stack Recruiter. So if you're someone that hasn't really explored X-raying or you don't really know how advanced you can be with Boolean, that sort of thing, definitely get Full Stack Recruiter. You're going to learn some really cool things. Lots of books out there. Resume Forensics, Hiring Humans, Talk Tech to Me, Python for Kids if you want to learn how to code. I actually spent a whole entire Saturday morning one day trying to learn how to do Python on ChatGPT. Crazy. But anyways, there's so many things we can do. It's incredibly overwhelming, but here's a list to hopefully get you started. Whew, breathe. Okay, so shining and amazing things. Speaking of overwhelming, and I think, did Jer write that on one of his things? Yeah, I wrote that down. So Jer had mentioned things can be overwhelming as well. It can be, but that's why, having lists, organizing yourself, understanding, what's important to your business. What are you recruiting on? Does this tool even matter to your industry? There's so many things that you have to do to research the many tools that are out there to help us do our jobs and do it well. Dean DaCosta has a bazillion start.me pages, but it would be a great starting place. Pick one of his pages, click on any one of the tools, and then just maybe do that, once a day for like 2 weeks or something, just to start getting yourself exposed to the different tools that are out there. He also has a tool called Sourcing Links, which is really cool. The free platform is actually really good. So if you do check that out, that is a really neat one too. Again, it's going to start getting your mind thinking about how there are many, many other ways to find candidates out there and find their contact information. Junius Courier. So everybody remembers, was it last Monday? LinkedIn went down and everybody freaked out. I literally went to Meta at the end of the day to see all the comments. But Genius actually wrote, "This is what I do when LinkedIn goes down." And it was a really good LinkedIn posts. So head to his LinkedIn, look at his post, you'll find it. Product hunt. So Steve Levy asked me, gosh, I want to say it was like 2018. Where are you finding your tools? How are you researching? Have you ever heard of Product Hunt? And I was like, what is that? I have no idea. But that is another great site with a million different things. And you can actually just type in like organizational tools and it'll pull up a list of things to help you stay organized. How am I doing on time? 2 minutes. Got it. CSE, so custom search engines, also very cool. You can control the results of anything that you're searching on and produce exactly what you want. And you can control that. It's really cool. Got to do a little bit of learning and educating yourself, but that is something you can do. Bookmarklets, again, another really cool thing that you can start to do and research to see if that makes sense for you. Then, of course, the robots, AI. So search tools, automation tools, email galore. It's incredibly overwhelming. So you're going to want to ask yourself some things. What helps you tell the story for your stakeholders? What helps you automate your workflow and saves you time? What makes sense for the time you have in the industry you're in? Maybe you have to hire like 20 software engineers in a month. That's going to be hard. So you probably won't be doing deep diving into the interwebs using OSINT technologies. You probably just won't have time to do that for real. What gives you the data? What allows you to still be a human? How can we keep the human element in it? Probably in your messaging, right? Or making phone calls. And then finally, ask your community pals for advice. Have they used it? Okay, or you can ask in the Facebook groups too. That's a good place to ask. So be organized, like Sandra Feldman. She just posted this earlier today. This is her start.me page. And you can see it's not overwhelming, but she has things spelled out by organizational, sourcing tools, outreach tools, content creation tools, networking, resources, diversity. I mean, you can just start your own list and start, um, putting these things in places so that you can remember them the day that you need to pull out the tool in the tool belt. How am I doing? Okay. So embrace your inner bison and turn into the storm. This is for AI. It's scary. It's cool. It's awesome. It's unknown. We're, shedding our feathers right now and we're kind of exploring this whole new thing, but turn into the storm. So bison don't actually run away from storms when they come. They actually go through it so that the storm will pass over them faster. And that's where we are. So let's keep learning and being our best selves. Um, got some takeaways on here, and you can definitely keep in touch with me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. I'm Shield Maiden on all of the socials.